Hello and welcome back. We are at day 14 on our journey of 100 days of 1%. And yesterday I talked about some fun facts on digestion. Well, today I thought I would talk about just kind of doing an easy, not deep detox. Phase 2 of the blah to bodacious system, where first you make sure you're pooping, and then second, you clean up some of the mess. And so one of the things that's really gaining in popularity are juice detoxes, especially kind of pre-packaged juice detoxes. You can order from a ton of different companies online. Some of them are great, some of them are not so great, so I'll definitely be doing a worth it or waste of money on that in the future. But with the idea of kind of the lazy naturopath, that's me, I'm Dr. Brenna Murphy, I'm the lazy naturopath, but thinking like, saving you time, saving you money, saving you energy. If you wanted to do a juice detox and you didn't want to do hours of extensive research into a good one, could you put together a decent juice detox from the grocery store? So that's the question that we're going to answer today. And in that investigation, I have actually purchased quite a few products from the local Publix right down the street to kind of see what type of detox could I put together from the grocery store within a few miles of the clinic. How much does it cost, and how does it compare to some other juice detoxes or the local detoxes on the market? All right, so let's start with what makes up a good detox, in my opinion. And I'm the lazy naturopath, so you're listening to me. My opinion has some weight, I hope. So number one is we want it to be low sugar overall. We want some sugar in there because you need some energy throughout the day, but we want the products to be on the lower carb end because we are trying to give your liver a break, and blood sugar is something your liver plays a role in regulating, as well as your adrenals. And the goal is to let your liver focus on cleaning up inflammation, metabolic waste, environmental toxins, just kind of a quick clean, and we don't want to have to deal with blood sugar at the same time. Number two is we want lots of greens. The chlorella is antioxidant. It actually is a binder. It acts as a little sponge in the digestive tract to bind up both heavy metals and environmental toxicants. The greens juices themselves, those bioflavonoids that make greens green, are powerful antioxidants aside from the chlorella, and they play an important role in decreasing inflammation and supporting liver health. We want some good oranges in there, specifically beta carotene, because beta carotene plays a really important role in supporting liver health, decreasing inflammation. And so again, if you haven't figured out yet, there's an organ we're mostly focusing on here. And with juices in general, we want to lean more towards juices in something like a smoothie because we want your digestive tract to also get a break, but we also want a good amount of nutrition in there. So with that, I definitely am a proponent of some protein in your day of juice detox. And you can do that as some protein added to your juice, and we'll go through the protein product I found at the grocery store. Now, if you want to boost your detox, things like turmeric, curcumin, and we'll go into a little more detail when I get to the product, but curcumin, it puts the brakes on inflammation in a really powerful way. Ginger is just a good digestive support. It moves things down through the system. It stimulates healthy liver function. It stimulates healthy bile flow. So we can add some herbs, and then even some either like red plants, because that's a different type of antioxidant approach. And I found an interesting product that I wouldn't include in every single cleanse, but I think is an interesting addition to a cleanse, that is some adaptogens that calm down your stress response. Remember, sugar, stress, speed, as your adrenals, pancreas, thyroid, direct how you're responding to food, how you're responding to nutrition. So something that calms you down can help your body, again, focus on the detox, the rest and repair, versus the response to the moment to moment. All right, so let's go through the products I found. Again, this is all from our local Publix right down the street, and I'll put the total on the screen at the end of what it all cost. But let's start with celery juice. Now this brand, Suja, I don't actually know how to pronounce it, I really like. They have one other product that is going to be the core of my grocery store detox, but they're cold pressed juice, which means that in the process of juicing the vegetable, there's no heat. It's literally pressed. It's exactly what it sounds like. They use an extreme amount of pressure to squeeze the plants to get the juice out, and by not using heat, that preserves the enzymes coming from the plants. When you use a juicer that uses a spinning mechanism, just like a blender, like it can heat up, and that destroys some of the nutrients and enzymes. They also, to keep their cold pressed juice preserved, use a high pressure preservation system that I've never heard of before. It's HPP, where basically, again, using pressure, they squeeze the life out of bacteria and other pathogens. So they just pressurize them so much that they burst. So it's interesting. I've never heard of it before. But I do really like this company. I've used the other product I'm about to talk about a few times, and I recommend it pretty frequently. Now, celery juice, this has become, or was all the rage about a year or two ago. The medical medium talked about celery juice being sort of the key for health. Now, celery juice does have a lot of good health benefits. In terms of detoxification, one of its health benefits is that it's bitter. And the bitter flavor, let me say this word correctly. Oh, it didn't. The phthalates trigger your liver to produce bile, your liver to release that bile into your gallbladder to release the bile into your digestive tract, and your whole digestive tract to peristalse. So I use bitters pretty frequently clinically for people who don't have good response to food and then trigger a pooping response. So bitters are part of my pooping power approach to get people's signaling pathways back up and running. And so one of the recommendations for celery juice is drink it first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. And that lets those bitters sort of kick the digestive tract into gear really early, dump the overnight toxins that have been processing into the digestive tract and flush them out, and just sort of clear the liver for whatever's coming up that day. Now, celery juice is also high in electrolytes. It's super hydrating. It's high in vitamin K, which can help with blood pressure on an ongoing basis. One bottle of celery juice is not going to do that for you. But again, the main benefit of celery juice for detoxification is the bitter flavor, really activating the liver, the gallbladder, and the digestive tract. So I would start with celery juice. I think this is a really good start. Now, most of the day for the detox is going to involve this Suja Uber Greens juice. They have a couple greens juices. I like the Uber Greens. And one of the reasons I like this is when you look at the ingredients, the main ingredients are greens and not apple juice or pineapple or grape, something sweet. There is a little bit of that in here, but the first ingredient is organic cucumber juice and organic celery juice, organic grapefruit juice, organic green chard juice, organic green leaf lettuce juice. It's not until you get down to, actually there isn't any apple juice in this at all. And so this is all greens, again, cold pressed. It uses that HPP preservation method. And so it's really, really concentrated greens. And you can see on the bottom, the greens actually do concentrate. So you obviously would want to mix that up. And this is the base of your grocery store juice cleanse. And if you're not going to do anything else, this is alone is a really good one-day grocery store cleanse, a really good blend of green strength, and it doesn't taste bad either. So I do weigh that pretty heavily. I mean, it does taste like greens. It's very fresh, but it's not grassy and disgusting. All right, so let's talk orange. And orange, not orange juice, but orange in color. This is a carrot ginger juice blend I found at the grocery store. Natalie's makes fresh squeezed orange juice, and we're in the South. Publix is a Florida-based company, so they usually carry really good orange juices, but this company also now makes a carrot ginger juice. Carrot juice is going to be higher in sugar naturally, so this is one of the higher calorie juices of the day. This is 2 servings in 1 bottle. I would split this up and do one sort of earlier in the day to give some energy, and one maybe around 3 o'clock or kind of midday to, again, give a little hit of glucose for some energy. But we want some sugar, so you have energy for the day. We also want the beta carotene and the other carotenoids in the carrot juice, because our liver uses a ton of vitamin A to do its job processing toxins and metabolic waste. And beta carotene has been shown to positively improve the levels of liver damage. So decrease liver enzymes, decrease the markers for non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. So livers like beta carotene, carrot juice is a great way to deliver a good amount of beta carotene during a cleanse. And again, we need some sugar, and this is a good way to get that sugar in. All right, now protein. You can't heal unless you're eating protein. So I'm not a huge fan of water fasts unless they're done in a really controlled way. There is a clinic called True North that does really long water fasts, very well with lots of oversight, lots of good holistic practitioners and other doctors on staff to make sure they work, and they have amazing results. But that is something you really want to do under the supervision of a very knowledgeable practitioner. But in general, we need protein to repair damaged tissues. So doing just juice without any protein or with minimal protein is putting you in a deficiency state versus a repair state. So I do recommend eating protein or drinking protein during your juice cleanse. Now this is the best product I could find from the fresh juice section at Publix. I'm not a huge fan of it, but it's better than whatever else was out there. Now it is 18 grams of protein in the bottle, and it's a good pea rice protein blend, which is a super absorbable, super low allergy protein blend. So it's good protein. It's not high in sugar. There's only 13 grams of carbs in this whole thing. So a lot of the pre-made protein drinks are super high in carbs. All the Bolthouse Farms ones, which are really easy to get, are very, very high in sugar. So if you're getting a pre-made protein drink from Publix, at least, this one is your best option. Now, an even better thing to do if you already have protein powder at home would be, just either mix that into some water, mix it into some nut milk, and this is almond milk, so it is dairy-free, or mix it into one of your juices. Well, maybe not carrot juice, that'd be gross. But if you, again, this is the idea of, can we get everything we need for a day of juice cleansing from the grocery store? And yes, you can, and here is an option for that. Now this is only 13 grams of protein, so you'd probably actually want to do 2 of these throughout the day to get at least 26 grams of protein, which is still a tiny, tiny amount. Ideally, you'd really want closer to 0.6 to 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight, which ends up being about 1/4 of your body weight in protein a day. So 50 to 60 grams is a pretty average baseline of protein for most people, which would be 4 to 5 of these, which is a lot, and that's kind of getting in the way of your cleanse. But, for one day, low protein, getting some protein in, this is an okay option. All right, so now let's look at a couple of the cleanse boosters. And one of these, there are a lot of these wellness shots. This is something that is obviously becoming more popular. I'm seeing more and more in grocery stores. I looked at quite a few of them at Publix. Publix had probably 4 or 5 different brands. In each brand, they had 3 to 5 different shot options. I like this one best because, again, it's super low carb. It's only 3 grams of carbs, and it's really detox and anti-inflammatory focused, even though it says immunity. And based on its formula, it's really more anti-inflammatory. So this is has some kefir, so we have 50 billion live bacteria in this little jar, which is great. The probiotics themselves are anti-inflammatory, and it also has turmeric, it has cabbage, or cabbage juice, some apple cider vinegar, some black pepper, which helps the turmeric get absorbed. So it's a nice little one shot of extra of the turmeric, which is a really, really potent anti-inflammatory. The curcuminoids in turmeric, which is what makes turmeric yellow, actually block something called IL-6 and NF-kappa B, which are cytokines that are like the gasoline on inflammation. So curcumin comes in and basically is a fire extinguisher, or a bucket of water, more accurately, and puts those out. So this blocks inflammation at its source and blocks the continuation of inflammation, because just like a fire, once inflammation starts, it keeps going. So the curcumin is really potent at stopping that, and this has turmeric, which is high in curcumin. And then finally, this is a really interesting company that I had not heard of. This was actually not in the refrigerated section. It was in like the monster drink section, just in case you're shopping at Publix. But this is more of an herbal tonic, and it has a lot of what we call adaptogen herbs in it, which are herbs that calm down your stress response. So if you're not stressing enough or not responding enough, they'll raise it up, but in general, they're calming it down. And again, calming your stress response changes how your body responds to blood sugar. It's going to change your ability to focus energy on restoration and repair. And then 2 of the adaptogens in here, Schisandra and goji berry, are really, really bright red, and that red bioflavonoid is also an anti-inflammatory, but works on different pathways and has different anti-inflammatory benefits than the orange or the green bioflavonoids. So we kind of have somewhat of a rainbow here in our detox. The one thing that I would add food-wise that I did not buy is cabbage. And I wouldn't get like a coleslaw, but an actual head of cabbage. Cabbage is the one food that increases both phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification in the liver. So it processes things all the way through the liver. You can do it as cabbage juice. You could do it as like a sauteed cabbage. You could do coleslaw, but you would just want to chop it up fresh instead of getting a coleslaw mix. But that would be the one thing I didn't buy because I'm about to go out of town that I would add to the juice cleanse if you wanted like juice cleanse plus a solid. Cabbage would be a good solid to add, and you could add some things to make it into a salad. All right guys, so that's our grocery store juice cleanse. Now this whole thing for a day costs this amount, which is not cheap, but pretty comparable to local juice bars. I Love Juice Bar in town charges about $35 for 1 day of juice. The box juice cleanses that you can get are around $25 to $35 up to even $50 a day for the juice. Suja actually has a box of juice, and it's about $210 for 3 days, I think, of juice. So that's about $70 a day. So price-wise, it's comparable. Quality-wise, it's definitely good. Obviously, this isn't all from one brand, but I think we can effectively do a grocery store juice cleanse. Check in the details and I'll list all of the products, and I will be back tomorrow. I'm Dr. Brenna Murphy. I'm the Lazy Naturopath, showing you how you can save money, save time, save energy, and still get the same results or even better. All right, guys, see you tomorrow.